Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and I'm the owner, creator, and coach for Believe in Better Finances. So it's actually rather late. It's about 10:30 right now as I'm shooting this video. I just got back from the gym, so I'm a little bit of a hot mess at the moment, but nonetheless, I have been pretty much shooting videos all day long for this channel, and I also have another channel where I'm documenting my weight loss journey. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit, but I thought I would do kind of this impromptu video. I actually did record it earlier today, this actual video topic, but when I didn't check it, I thought it was in focus, but whenever I went back it was kind of fuzzy, so I just didn't want to put out a really fuzzy video for you guys to have to watch. So I'm a little bit dressed differently and don't look quite as together, but nonetheless, I just figured we'd do something different, do kind of a chit-chat video with you, and then bring you up to speed on a couple other things. So that being said, what I wanted to visit with you guys on for this video is not so much about a specific financial topic like I normally do, but I actually wanted to share with you some things that's going on personally in my life and my husband's life, and just some stuff that we've talked around and kind of thrown out together, and pretty much have put a plan in place to start implementing those things that we discussed a couple months ago. So that being said, if you're not familiar with the video that I put out back in January, it would have been around the first part of the new year. It was called our 2016 Financial Goals or something along that line. I'll link the video in the description box below. But essentially it was me outlining for all of you guys what my personal financial goals were going to be for the new year, and that also includes my husband as well, because a lot of those goals are going to be goals of his or things that we're working towards together with both of our incomes. So that being said, we are still working towards those. We're making really good progress. It's not easy, but it is something that we're definitely being diligent about. We're looking at our budget, trying to figure out ways we can cut costs and just be as smart and strategic with our income as possible in order to make those goals a reality. So that being said, a couple months ago, we were, in our house having lunch, I think it was, and we were just kind of chatting about different things that had happened throughout the work week. It was the weekend. And, my husband made a point to say that, while he loves this house that we're in, he doesn't see this being our forever home. We love our home and we love the neighborhood that we're in, but the neighborhoods that surround this residence or this subdivision, they're lower income, and again, there's nothing wrong with that, but typically from my experience in our areas, as we've watched certain neighborhoods of certain income types, over a period of 5, 10, 15 years, those neighborhoods typically degrade quite a bit, and therefore it affects the home values, and us being surrounded by a lot of that, it's just not necessarily an area I think that we want to be in long term. Right now it's great, but I can see that, over a period of time, at some point it's going to hit its peak, and then the home values are just never going to be as high as they were. Again, that's just my personal opinion, and being that I grew up in this area my whole life, as well as my husband, we just have a very good handle of the market based on our experience. So anyways, all that to be said, he was kind of saying, I don't really see us being in this house for the rest of our lives. Our first home was a starter home. We bought it at, I think we were 20 and 21 years old when we bought our starter home. We got married at 19, so we were pretty young, but nonetheless, we were in our home for around 10 years. So we moved into this one in June of last year, so we've not even been in it quite a year yet. But when he made that comment, I had to say, well, again, I love this house. It's amazing. It's, 10 times nicer compared to what we had, even though we loved our starter home. It was just very small. But I kind of told him, I agree. I don't see us being here for a long period of time. It is a lot of house for 2 people, and we're thinking about eventually having a child, but I think we'll probably just have one. That's something we've always talked about and agreed on. So we're not intending to have 2, 3, 4 kids. So it is a lot of house for a 2 or 3 person family. So that being said, we started talking through different ideas, and I said, what if we stay in this home? Say we'll stay here for 5 to 7 years, and we continue to pay on our mortgage, but we work really hard to pay extra towards the principal. And then from that point on, if we get around 5 to 7 years of being in this house, when you have a new home, at that point, things start wearing down at that point too. So I told him maybe that would be good timing to try to get out of this house. And what we could do then is, if we've been paying enough extra principal over that period of time, plus our payments, we should have a pretty good chunk of equity in this house. So when we bought this one, we actually built it from the ground up, and in order to make the payments affordable, we definitely sacrificed and we put over 20% down because we didn't want to pay PMI, which is private mortgage insurance. Private mortgage insurance, if you're not familiar, it's about $100 every $100,000 that they add to the payment. So it saved us a couple $100 just not having PMI, and it also put us in a positive equity position right off the bat. So we already put quite a bit of money down on this house, but I told him, I said, what would it be, how cool would it be if we were able to pay extra principal, sell this house in say 7 years, and then take the proceeds from the sale of the home and go and pay cash for a very nice, modest home. That has been a dream of mine, is to be able to live in a paid-for house. Sadly, it's good and bad, but in our old home, which was, like I said, our starter house, it was not even 1,100 square feet, so it was very small, but it was fine. We just more or less didn't like the area. And we were, I think, about 6 months shy of having that house paid for, and then we moved into this one. So our payments have doubled here, which is fine. We can manage it with our income and our other things, but nonetheless, we were that close from having a paid-for house, and I was so looking forward to, you know, knowing that feeling and not owing any payments. We're completely debt-free besides our mortgage, and we intend to stay that way, God willing. And so yeah, we were that close to being like truly 100% debt-free. But we just, again, we knew we didn't want to raise a family in that home or that neighborhood, and we didn't want to be in that house long-term. So we're thinking, like I said, selling this house in a couple years and then taking the cash that we can get from the sale and then buying something that we can afford in cash that will be our next home. So at that point, we're thinking we would stay in the, I guess that would be house number 3 for us. So we would stay there and maybe live there between 2 and 5 years. So if we were to sell this home in say 7 years, we would be like around 38 years old. So we wouldn't even be 40 yet. And we said, you know, maybe we could stay in the third house for a couple years. We would have no payments and an ideal situation. And we would just sock all of our income that we have into a savings account. Because the reason we say that is our ultimate goal is my husband would like to be in a different area, mainly so we can have some land. Because currently in our neighborhood, if we wanted to build a shop, not only will the HOAs not allow it, which is fine, because our neighborhood's beautiful, but they don't allow for you to build any kind of buildings or not outhouses. Gosh, it's late. Or I'm thinking like sheds. You can't have any of that in your backyard. So there's no way for my husband to have a workshop, which is something he wants. He wants to be able to tinker on vehicles, and he's always wanted to get into like wood making or woodworking. So you know, ideally we'd like a little bit of land where we could build a shop, have a nice paid-for house. So we figured if we sell this one, buy our next house in cash, live in it without no mortgage, no other debt payments, and just basically bank all of our income, or as much as we can outside of living expenses, we could probably afford to make that third house and workshop and land an actual reality. So anyways, I know that was kind of long, but yeah, so that's thinking more really long-term and strategic with where we see our life going as far as our housing situation is concerned. That was something I didn't share in my 2016 financial goal update, because those goals mainly more so applied to this year, and maybe some of it might creep into next year. But that was just something I thought I'd share as a financial goal that's more long-term speaking. And again, some of that could change, but nonetheless, I think it's always important to visit with your spouse about things like that. And obviously, if you want to make those kind of goals a reality, it's going to take teamwork on both of your parts. You know, anything I can do from my standpoint to make the most of our budget. You know, I'm the primary shopper, so I go get the groceries most of the time and things like that. So I'm always thinking strategically about what can I get to get the most for our money. I shop at places where we get fuel, so that way we can get fuel points and save on gas. I'm constantly thinking about stuff like that, on ways I can save money and make that money go towards other things that are more important to us. And you know, he has the ability with his work credentials to pick up very good paying part-time jobs sometimes. And so, you know, he utilizes his skills in that capacity to help bring in extra money. So between us working a lot and me trying to do the best as far as our household goals and our income and our budgets, you know, we work as a team to make our goals happen together because it's for the best of both of us and our future family. So yeah, so that's kind of that. So I thought I'd share that update with you guys. I'm actually waiting for another video that I shot earlier to upload, so I figured I'd just come down here and hang out and chat with you guys. But so that being said, my next point I thought I would talk to you guys about is things that I've been doing to save money here and there. So if you're wondering why I'm looking down, I've got like my notes here on my phone. So I thought I'd share with you, there's about 10 things that I feel like has been helping us save money and stretch our paychecks. So again, some of these may apply to you, some of them may not. Maybe it's just food for thought if you ever find yourself in that position, and these are in no particular order. But one of the things that we've started to do, or more so me, because I'm really big about washing my car. I work for a credit union in like business development, so I have to go and meet with clients and things like that. So it's very imperative for me to have a very clean vehicle, or at least I find that's important. Again, it just projects a professional image, everything from what you wear to, I don't necessarily have to have a fancy car, but it should be clean. So anyways, that's just my opinion. But in kind of a couple cities over from where we live, there is a really nice car wash facility where it's one of those you drive up, they ask you what kind of car wash you want, you get out, you know, they vacuum your car, they run it through the little wash machine, and then they hand detail it and all that. So that can get very expensive. So one of the things that we had opened a couple years ago, there's another car wash facility where it's more of a self-serve. It's not one of those where you actually walk around the car and you know, wash it down. What you do is you like drive it through. So for $5, you can drive it through the little car wash machine that scrubs the exterior, and then you can pull over and use the free vacuums and things like that. I'm sure many of you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so doing that and just doing like the $5 car wash, I bring like my car detailing supplies and throw it in my trunk so I can wipe and Armor All, you know, my dashboard and wipe down my tires to make it shiny versus going and spending $20 or $30 to get it more detailed from a professional car, as I was saying, a car wash company or service. So that's something that I've started to do where I can still keep my car clean, but again, it's more on the DIY side where I'm not paying a premium to have somebody else do stuff that I'm purposely capable of doing myself. Another thing that I recently did, which again, just trying to change habits or ways of doing things. If it was last year, I probably would have just hired somebody to do this. But again, knowing our 2016 goals and our long-term goal that we have in mind for our home or our housing situation, with it being springtime, I love flowers. And again, we are in a new house, so I want our yard to look really pretty, and I just personally enjoy having a pretty yard. So one of the things that I did was our landscaping around the front of our house needed to have fresh plantings, so fresh flowers and things like that, because we had some that were annuals, so they only lasted for one season and they died. So I went out and bought some bulbs and some shovels and just stuff like that. It wasn't that expensive, but I took about a half of a day and went out in the front yard when it was real nice. A couple days ago it was like 75 degrees and sunny. So went out there and I dug up all the dirt, planted a bunch of bulbs. They're starting to finally start to bloom right now, and it's going to be so pretty. But previous to that, I would have probably just hired somebody and paid, you know, $50 or $100 for them to come out and kind of till up the soil and plant all the bulbs and stuff like that. Again, getting back to doing it yourself can save you a lot of money and still accomplish the same look in this case. Also, speaking of yard work, while it's getting pretty close to where I'm going to have to start mowing our yard, we haven't had to do that quite yet. But last year, being that we moved in the summer and my husband had a new job at that point, it was just crazy. To kind of make things a little bit easier on us, we actually hired out somebody to come mow our yard every 2 weeks. Sometimes I would mow it in between, but I think this year what we've decided to do is, now that we're settled in, my husband's got almost his first year underway under this new job, things are a little bit more calm. We've got all the equipment here to mow our own yard, so we're going to be doing that. There may be some point where when it gets into triple-digit temperatures like it gets here in Texas a lot of times, we may have somebody else do it and just pay them, but up until that point we're going to try to just, you know, handle it ourselves, essentially. So again, DIYing it. Another thing that I recently did, I get so sick of having to pay the cell phone bill. I know we can't, I mean, I feel like I could live without a cell phone, to be honest. I'm not that attached to it, but the world and society says you need a cell phone. But one of the things that I did was I called AT&T, my service provider, and I dropped my data plan down to the bare minimum, and it's like hardly nothing. So I actually just said, just restrict it where I can't use data outside of Wi-Fi. So if I'm at work, I have Wi-Fi access for my phone. At my office, or if I'm here at the house, we have high-speed internet that I can connect to. So it's not really a big deal. The only thing that has bothered me not having data on my phone is sometimes if I'm having to go places, I like having like Google Maps where I can do driving directions, but because I am in business development for my job, I'm very familiar with the DFW Metroplex where we live, so I just generally plan ahead and print out paper directions just in case if I'm going to someplace new. So it's not been a big deal, and otherwise it keeps me off being on my phone when I'm driving, when you shouldn't be, you know, surfing social media or whatever. I'm sure we've all done that from time to time, but again, that change alone has saved me $60 a month. And if at any point in time I want it back, I can always add it back on and there's no additional charge. So if you're, you know, to the point where you're having to really trim your budget, maybe you're short money every month, you know, look at giving up those kind of things. You can live without it. I mean, is it inconvenience? Yeah, but, you know, could it save you some money and give you a little bit more wiggle room? Then maybe it's worth it. Another thing that I thought I'd share with you guys, being female and all, is a little bit about my beauty rituals and just some things that I've been able to do to kind of stretch our dollars. So as far as haircuts, I'm actually in the process, I've been in the process of trying to grow my hair out, and it is growing slowly but surely. It seems like it's growing so slowly, but I do know it's getting longer. But because of that, because I'm not coloring my hair, I used to color it blonde and all that, I had to get more regular haircuts whenever I was bleaching my hair because my hair would get more brittle. Now I get about 3 haircuts a year, so, and I'm not coloring it, so it's just literally a straight haircut. And sometimes I have them blow it out, and sometimes I just go home and fix it. But that's been one thing that has been saving us a ton of money, is not paying for, you know, highlights or lowlights or coloring. It's just getting my hair trimmed as I need it throughout the year. Getting my nails and toes done, that gets a little bit harder for the ladies, especially in the summertime. But used to this time of year, I mean, I would get my nails and toes done all the time. I still do my toes just because I find that it's hard to DIY my toes and do a good job. But when it comes to my nails, I just keep my nails nice and, you know, trimmed and filed down nice and neat. And I just do a pretty clear coat over them. So that way, again, it looks professional for work, but I'm not having to pay a fortune to get my toes and my nails done. So that's a way that I can stretch our dollars a little bit. And then makeup. I love, 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 love makeup. I love drugstore makeup. I love high-end makeup. And I think that's just kind of a girl thing as well. But one of the things that I've started to do is, rather than just go out and buy makeup that's truly unnecessary, I try to use up what I have first. And I have plenty of stuff to choose from. So it's one of those things, I just tried to avoid Ulta and Sephora and all those kind of places where I want to try out new products. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But again, depending on what your goals are, you have to prioritize of what's truly a need or a necessity and what's more of a want. And in this case, makeup for me is more of a want. Now, if I run out of mascara, you know, again, I'll go get mascara, but do I necessarily need to get the high-end mascara, or could I go get some CoverGirl Lash Blast or something like that? Well, I can do that too. Another thing, if you enjoy shopping, shopping can get very expensive. I know several people who their weekly ritual is to go to Target and get a Starbucks and walk around Target and buy stuff. And that, I can't imagine how expensive that must be, because I can't go in Target because I just know, I mean, I love Target, don't get me wrong, but if I go in there, I'm going to easily drop $100 every time I walk in there. There's just so many amazing things. So, you know, Target has a time and a place. But for me, you know, I try to now set a specific dollar amount that I can spend on whatever it is I want. So it might be $20 or $40, but I've gotten into like, where can I go where $20 or $40 will really stretch pretty far? And being that I'm in a newer home, I'm still decorating it, just taking our time trying to find things that are, you know, that go with the home that also is a good price. So I've enjoyed going to things like Hobby Lobby or Home Goods. I love, love, love Home Goods. I can find that $20 goes pretty far there, getting me a couple things. And it just satisfies that urge to do some shopping without blowing the budget kind of thing. Another thing which I did mention in my 2016 goals was being able to save up cash for Christmas. So again, not charging on a credit card or anything like that. So each pay period we are setting aside so much money per paycheck in our Christmas fund account. And I actually have a debit card that's tied to that account. So now if I'm out and about and I see something that's for a family member or loved one that I think I would like to get them for Christmas, I can go ahead and purchase that. So again, it gives me that feeling of being able to shop, but not necessarily have to spend, waste money on things that I don't necessarily need. So like this past Friday, I went to Aldi to buy some groceries, and while I was there, they had this really cool, like 1.5 foot Batman figurine type thing. So I thought that would be cute for one of my young family members. So I went ahead and got that, used my card. That money came out of my Christmas account, not our checking account, and put that up for Christmas for this coming year. So yeah, so that's just been another thing where again, I'm planning ahead, I'm getting Christmas taken care of earlier, and I have time to shop around for the right deals for things that are in my budget that I can afford to spend for each person, and it gives me that sense of getting to shop without, just shopping for no reason. Another thing that I've been doing, while it's not necessarily a direct cost savings per se, I guess you could argue that, but I've become working out. So another thing that I've started to do, which I mentioned kind of earlier, is I've begun a weight loss journey. So I had been overweight for quite a period of time. When I went to finish my master's degree and working full time, I was just not taking care of myself. I was eating out all day, every day, and had no time to work out due to classes and my full-time job and family and the household and all that. I mean, all excuses, but I just didn't make time to do any of that and eat healthy. So I've made it a point to focus on my health and focus on me this year and going forward. So I've definitely done a complete lifestyle change. I'm eating healthier, and part of that is working out. So while I do have to pay a gym membership fee now because I'm going to the gym, in some ways I feel much healthier. Knock on wood, I'm not getting as sick as much, so that's saving me there. But one of the other things that I found that's a benefit of working out is because I do work, 8 hours a day, I come home, eat dinner with my husband, and then I go to the gym. Outside of all that, there's not a lot of time to be bored, where it's like, okay, if I was bored before, let's go to a movie. So we'd spend, $20 or $30 going to a movie, or let's go do this, or let's go do that. So working out has been a great way to relieve stress, but also to occupy us during the week and sometimes on the weekend. Like tonight was Saturday night. My husband's at work, had nothing else to do. I didn't want to go shopping because I knew I'd just spend money for no reason. So I went to the gym, got a good workout in. I feel much better, and yeah, so working out has been a good thing as well as far as saving us money, just because we're not doing other stuff during the week because there's just not a lot of time left in the day. Another thing that's been really great as far as my clothing budget is concerned is because I'm starting to lose quite a bit of weight, I'm having to go down in my dress sizes, so my shirt or my pant sizes. But because of that, because I am losing weight, I don't want to go shopping for clothes that much because I still have a lot more weight that I intend on losing, and the last thing I want to do is buy clothes that maybe in a month or two I'm not going to be able to wear anymore. So I've actually taken out a subscription. It's an online rental clothing company. It's called Gwenny B. And it's like $40 a month, but they send you 2 pieces of clothing at a time. So I can rent like usually 2 pieces a week. I can get between 8 to 10 pieces per month for 40 bucks. So, at any decent clothing store, you might get 1 shirt for around $40, whereas I can try 8 to 10 different things throughout the month to keep my wardrobe looking fresh and things that fit me at that time. So I found that has been a great cost savings for me. And to be honest, when you're overweight, clothes shopping is not always that fun anyways, but this has been kind of a fun thing because you get a box in every week and you're like, oh, what's going to be in the box this time? So it's been a lot of stuff that I've been able to wear for work to keep my business attire looking fresh and current and fitting properly with my weight loss goals and things like that. That leads me into grocery shopping. So one of the things that I have done, this has probably been one of the biggest money savers for us compared to what I've been doing the last several months is I've added grocery shopping at Aldi. So this is probably not new for a lot of you if you've ever been to Aldi. Aldi is known for having, you know, food and really good quality stuff, but at a great price. So previous to that, my husband and I, when we moved to the town that we're in now, they have, it's like a Kroger marketplace in the area. And so because of where we lived previous to that, we had nothing around us except for Walmart. So when we got to Kroger, on top of it being a supermarket Kroger, we loved to go there to shop for everything and anything. And while it's great and they have wonderful stuff, Kroger can be kind of expensive compared to a place like Aldi. So what I decided to do one day, I went in there and I was like, man, I don't know why I haven't been coming to Aldi before, because their vegetable section is really good quality, at least my store is. They have a lot of good variety. They have a lot of healthy options, like I get my turkey bacon there. It's better than all the turkey bacon I saw at Kroger, and it's half the price, so I can get double for what I pay over there. So there's still certain things that I go to Kroger for, like fresh seafood and stuff like that, and specialty items, but everything else I go to Aldi, and that has literally cut my food budget every 2 weeks in half. So all that extra money has gone towards, you know, our savings goals, other things, being able to do other stuff with that income that I would have been spending on very expensive food. So yeah, that's been another awesome part. Along with losing weight, one of the things that I've started to do is to meal prep my lunches. I don't do dinners just because I prefer to have a fresh cooked dinner, and I'm able to do that. So I pretty much just prep for lunches and my snacks for before lunch and after lunch at work, so that way I don't go to the vending machine. So I'm not spending wasteful money on crap food that I shouldn't be eating. But also, the other thing that I found is previous to me meal prepping and this weight loss journey that I'm on, I used to go out to lunch every day. I just needed to get out of the office, and so I would get out of the office and go get me lunch, and that was kind of my excuse. While I do miss getting out of the office sometimes, it's saving me so much money not having to get in my car, because where I work in kind of the downtown, uptown Dallas area, so there's not a lot of like quick food type places. You actually have to get in your car and drive up the freeway several exits up to go to any kind of quick, like Chick-fil-A or something like that. So just not doing that every single day has saved me a lot in gas and mileage on my car. And again, cooking your meals at home, it's so much cheaper, so much healthier, and yeah, I just find I'm more productive at work as well. So that's been something that I've been doing that has helped me so much. Another thing that my husband and I have done as well, since we're trying to watch our weight and stuff like that, is we've really limited our dining out. We still do dine out once or twice a week, but the rest, pretty much during the week, we cook at home, and that saves us, again, gas money. We're not driving around as much. We're not going out to restaurants where it's so much more expensive, but there are certain times where we might go out to Chipotle, for example. So we'll go get us, he'll get the tacos, I get the Chipotle bowl, and instead of getting the expensive drinks, we just bring our own bottled water. They might not like that, but we do it anyways. So yeah, so if we go out to eat, we always try to drink water, and just, you know, we don't go anywhere super fancy, but yet it's a night out for us, kind of a date night, and it's fine. So that's something else we've been doing. And again, for me, it's the little things that add up. Before this, when I was not losing weight, my drink of choice was a large half sweet, half unsweet tea. So to get that at Chick-fil-A, that was almost $2 for a large glass of tea. And sometimes, you know, I'd get one in the morning. Sometimes I get another one at lunchtime if I went to, you know, Chick-fil-A for lunch. And then sometimes I'd have one in the evening time. So I could be spending anywhere between $5 and $6 on tea per day. So if you add that up over 30 days, that's quite a bit of money I was just spending on liquids and stuff to drink. So maybe for you, maybe it's coffee, maybe it's sodas at the vending machine at work, whatever it is, you know, start really analyzing all the little things that can add up to so much money over a period of time. So I know this video is getting kind of long, but those are just some examples of stuff that I've done, just little changes. Again, a lot of it's just getting back to doing it yourself. It is nice to have the convenience, and sometimes that's fine to splurge, but again, doing it yourself will save you a lot of money. Looking at your little daily habits, like my tea habit, you know, I've cut that out and I've just gone to straight water. Again, I'm healthier, Water's free, you know, besides bottled water, but you know, you can get, you know, whatever. So just think about all those things that, you know, could save you money and help you attain those goals that much faster. It's so worth it, especially when you start seeing that you're getting traction with your goals. That to me, it just motivates me to work that much harder and to be that much smarter with our cost savings and our income and doing our budget every month and sticking to it every single month. So I hope you enjoyed this video update, and this was a little bit outside of the norm, but like I said, I just wanted to get a little bit more real with you guys, a little less structured, and yeah, just share with you kind of our long-term goals. So fingers crossed that it all works out. I'm sure it will, God willing, we will get there, but it is definitely a long-term goal and something we're gonna have to work at together over a long period of time. But anyways, if you guys have any goals similar to that or any tips or tricks for cutting costs, I would love to hear from you guys. So please leave me a comment below or just let me know what you thought about this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. Give this video a big thumbs up. I'd also appreciate that. And be sure and subscribe for future videos on all things money. I'll see you next time.